What's going on, everybody? This is Tyler from Pro Physique, and it has definitely been quite some time since we've done one of these, but I've decided to make a little bit of a project here for you guys. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be going on for the next couple of years most likely. So, this is just obviously the intro video here. Gonna just give you guys an oversight of what we're gonna be doing here over the next couple of years, why I want to do this, and just kind of set everything up here to get us started. So, I am planning on stepping back on stage next year. It will have been roughly 4 years since I have been on stage. I competed last in 2018. It was an amazing prep. As you can kind of see here in the pictures, I got very, very lean. It was easily the leanest I have ever been. And it was definitely probably one of the hardest preps I've ever done as well. We dropped about 30 pounds in roughly 18 weeks, if I remember correctly. It was around there, so maybe don't quote me on that. But it was, quite an extensive process. And after that, I remember I was feeling very, very burnt out, especially from the competing side of things. And I had no desire to really compete again, actually. And that was a thought that I had for the last couple of years. I just was like, you know what? I'm not going to put any pressure on myself. I'm not going to have a date. I may never compete again. And I was okay with that. Competing takes a lot. And in my opinion, you do miss out a lot of life experiences. You have to be doing your cardio. You have to be tracking your macros to a absolute T. You are consumed by the stage. And that was just something that I didn't want for my life. I wanted to be able to kind of go do whatever I wanted and to, do other things than constantly prepping. And so for a couple of years, I just focused on good energy in the gym. I always had it in the back of my mind, that I might compete one day, so I still wanted to build some muscle. I was never going to fully close that door, but it was quite close, 3/4 of the way closed. So last couple of years, I have just been building, I've been eating, I've been living life, and I think that's a very important thing that every competitor needs to go through. I think that taking a couple years off to just get away from the stage and to eat food and just to lift weights for the fun of lifting weights is such a huge mental break, and can be, I think, very important to the competitor. And so having that was truly amazing, and it was fantastic. I was able to just do what I wanted. Lately though, my training, my nutrition, my momentum, my desire to be in the gym, to track my food was really tanking. Now, there were a few other things going on in life. My wife and I, Stephanie, just had our first child, our daughter, Quinn Alice Weeb. So, we spent all of last year, going through the pregnancy. Well, I guess my wife going through the pregnancy, me supporting her in any way possible. Obviously COVID and everything else that goes along with that. So there was just a lot going on in life, and I did notice that my training was starting to suffer a little bit. And so I had been slowly getting the itch to maybe compete again. I still wasn't really putting a timeline on it, but once, as a competitor, once you start getting that itch, that you're like, you know what? I'm okay to suffer again at some point. You know that you're close to being ready mentally to step on stage, right? Or to go through that process. And so as we got into the last half of last year, towards the end of the year, that itch kind of started to come up again. We had our daughter December 21st, so we were doing all of that. Obviously the last 6 weeks has just been learning how to parent, but that desire and that itch really started to become more and more the more I thought about it. And so I made the decision. I talked with Steph and was like, you know what? I am going to prep next year, 2022. That is a goal I am going to set, because I found that once I was able to have that timeline and to kind of go, okay, here's that end date. I'm ending my reverse here. That really kicked me into high gear and actually really kind of gave me that spark that I think that I was missing when I didn't really have a timeline. I was just kind of going, okay, you know what, I'm just building muscle, which I think for a time, maybe not having a hard set goal is okay, right? Take some time to think about it, figure out what you want to do, but eventually you need to set that goal, because if you don't really, you're just going to keep kind of spinning your wheels, and that's where I was starting to go. I didn't really have a purpose in the gym or in my nutrition. It was just to get big, and again, that works for only so long, because getting big takes a very long time, and there's really no set goal, right? Getting big can mean a bunch of different things to a bunch of different people, and so to be able to have that set goal and that timeline, I think can really push us into high gear and really kind of give us that extra motivation that we might need to kind of tighten everything back up. So I am working with a coach, maybe not as intensively as maybe some of you do work with a coach, as I am still in my off season, and so I don't need as much guidance as I might need once I am in prep. So right now I am working with 3DMJ Alberto Nunez. They are an absolutely fantastic company, one of the top bodybuilding companies, coaching companies in my opinion. And so I am super excited to be a part of that team and working with some amazing coaches. Not only is it a great opportunity for me to grow and to build and to get amazing coaching. As a coach myself, I love learning from other coaches as well, especially the top ones in the industry. So I am very excited to learn from them and to go through this process with Berto. So here is our starting point. So I'm going to put up some pictures here. Took this about last week. These are my starting point after 2 years of bulking. On stage, I was about 169, 170 at 5'11". Right now, I'm sitting around 202, 203. So right now we're about 30-ish pounds over stage weight, which for a prep is probably a little bit too much. But we have a plan in place. We're going to be bulking here until July, hopefully reaching about 210 pounds. That is the goal. We're going to cut down from July till about September, get me a little bit closer to my stage weight, because we don't want to start prep 20, 30 pounds over stage weight. You want to make prep as easy as possible on you. Prep is already going to be hard. And so when we have 30, 40 pounds to lose, you're already making a hard process even harder. So that is our starting point. That's what we're trying to do. My starting macros right now: 240 protein, 525 carb, 70 fats. So we are tracking my weight once a month, and the goal here is to put on 0.7 pounds to 1.5 pounds on the scale every 4 weeks. If we're not doing that, we'll add in some more food and then keep the process going. So my ultimate goal here through this series and just through these next couple of years is to really dive into the process with all of you and really show you, from beginning to end, what this process of stepping on stage looks like. I think a lot of the times people love to highlight the prep process and, oh, look how shredded I am, and look how lean I am, and this and that. But what gets lost in the shuffle is the daily grind of reversing, of building your muscle, of improving your physique in an off season through the nutrition, the training, and the mental slog that it can be. Muscle doesn't come on quite easily, and so that does take time, and doing the same thing day in and day out and maybe not seeing a ton of results in a fast amount of time can be hard, and not a lot of people like to take the time to do that. We always want to be dropping body fat. So I want to dive into the training, I want to dive into the nutrition, I want to dive into my psyche and what I go through, my thought process throughout this whole process. And so you guys can expect probably one video a week here. We'll be talking about nutrition one week. I'll kind of have some training footage, on one week. We'll kind of talk about just, personal life one week, just any thoughts that I have, things that I'm going through, things that I'm feeling, where my motivation is, fourth, we'll kind of all tie it in together once a month and kind of have a bit of a bigger video kind of just reviewing everything. And so, my hope here is that you guys can kind of see is I'm just a normal guy who wants an amazing physique and wants to step on stage and has a goal, has a plan, and then this is how we execute. So my hope here is just, yeah, for you guys to kind of see not how, how easy it is, and just the time that it takes, and that you can do it, and you just have to have the patience and the consistency to accomplish that goal. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of the crux of it, and kind of what I'm hoping that you guys get out of it. I'm sure that this will evolve over the next couple of years as I go through the process, as I learn more. I'm not expecting the top level, production here. This is going to be a much, closer to a vlogging style. But I hope you guys really enjoy the process. I'm always going to want your feedback, so send me feedback, negative, positive. Maybe not negative, let's make it constructive feedback here. But super excited to be along with you guys on this journey. I know this is a bit longer of a video, so I'm going to end it here. But make sure to hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I am super excited to bring you guys along on this journey.